Around 25 million people in California are under a floodwatch this weekend as the latest in a parade of deadly storms drenches the state. Several waterways have flooded, at least 19 people have died and thousands have been told to evacuate their homes. In Montecito, a town 84 miles (135 kilometers) northwest of Los Angeles, locals say the rain aggravates their trauma. A mudslide here killed 23 people in 2018 and many are afraid it could happen again. Rita Bourbon credits Italian stone masons with saving her life. The craftsman built her home more than a century ago and she says it's like a fortress. She survived the storm 5 years ago, crying inside with her daughter and some friends as they listened to the sound of boulders and other houses ripped from their foundations crashing into her home. The next day, the neighborhood up the coast from Los Angeles was wrecked and almost 24 were dead, including her neighbor whom she found in her garden in the mud. "It's a sound I used to love," she says of the creek burbling in her garden, which is now bursting with ripe citrus and persimmon trees, as a blue heron drinks from her muddy pool. "Now I know what it can do." We all have a bit of PTSD. Montecito Creek became a violent, raging flow again this past week, prompting fire officials to issue a "leave now" warning to the entire community, which includes some of California's most famous residents such as Oprah Winfrey, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The evacuation order in Montecito has been lifted, but residents remain on edge. And with so much of the land already saturated, the risk of flooding and landslides is very real. Abe Powell is the co-founder of the Santa Barbara Bucket Brigade, formed in 2018 to mobilize volunteers to clean up after the deadly mudslide. This week, Powell led volunteers around the community, filling sandbags and digging trenches. He took us on a perilous drive up a narrow mountain road where giant boulders and mud blocked access to some homes. "We don't want to hang around here," he said, looking at the fresh boulders. Film producer Steve McGlothern is one of the volunteers. He has lived in the area for half a century and in his cliff-top home for 27 years. Helping others, he said, takes his mind off the problems at his own property and the despair he feels as the rain keeps falling. Plastic sheets cover the hillside, which slid away for the first time this week, an attempt to stop this latest deluge from making the slide worse.